live? Hey guys, this is Bobby Clue with the Somerset-Pulaski County Chamber of Commerce. We're back again with our Chamber Spotlight series, a new series that we're doing where we're focusing on some interviews with our Business of the Year award winners here in 2023, so this past year. So we are out and about today at Conner Logistics, and I have with me Sean and Megan Conner. So thank you all very much for taking a little bit of time to talk with us. You were our Business of the Year award winner in the 11 to 20 employee category. And as we were talking earlier, logistics is just a big word that can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So tell us a little bit about maybe Conner Logistics, the background, what you guys do here.
Okay, well, first off, logistics, we get questions on that all the time. So, especially the younger generation, if they ask what logistics is, they think it's computers. Obviously, we don't do computers. We do trucking, warehousing, shipping, delivery. So logistics in general is anything to do with moving freight or moving product and the process in which it is happening. So it's the idea of how does it all come together to make that process happen.
Sure. So you've got big companies, and they make a lot of stuff, and it has to be warehoused somewhere,
right.
And then a lot of time that has to be delivered to different places, right. And you're the person that does that. You warehouse and deliver.
Yeah. So we do warehousing here in Somerset. We have two warehouses currently. So we do storage, fulfillment. So people can place orders and do e-commerce orders. So we have companies ordering stuff off of TikTok and deliveries being made out of here and shipments being made out of here. It could be done out of manufacturing. So we have some manufacturing companies that are having us do inventory for them, and then it can be final mile delivery. So we've done deliveries up and down the entire state, all into Tennessee, all the way to Indiana, Ohio, for final mile carriers, as well as longer freight deliveries. So we have tractor trailers that can go hundreds of miles and make deliveries too.
Sure. When I think about what you guys do, I think a lot of people might think, this is bigger than me. This is for big companies, and massive warehouses. But, this could be as little as somebody who started up a business and it's grown and they can't fulfill orders out of their garage anymore.
Right.
They just don't have the room, the capacity, the square footage. They've outgrown what a normal person probably has on site, maybe at their house. And they need somewhere else to run that business out of.
Right.
So that's what you can do for them as well.
Yeah, we can do anything from as small as a garage type style logistics operation to massive. I mean, so we've done everything from small to big. The TikTok one I was telling you about is a local guy, or we were referred locally, and he's doing some work out of here, and his is only a few hundred items that are going out every month.
Well, and this is, we're in the offices of a giant warehouse right now. I mean, there's a warehouse out there that's what, 30, 40,000? I mean, how big is that?
This one's 40,000, and then we have one 45,000 behind us here.
So you've got almost 90,000 square feet here. So anybody that's watching this, I think you could probably handle their logistics. But
and one piece of it that is a unique service that we offer is the inventory control. So not only is it, people that are trying to do that in a garage or whatever, or a smaller business that needs help, but also larger businesses that want to offload that. And one of the things that Sean launched several years ago, which is really great, is on-demand inventory. And so, that we can offload for other companies like manufacturers or, anybody that's got freight and supplies and products that they're bringing in,
sure.
that we manage that for them, and it comes here. And then if it's regional or local, somewhere where we can get within a day, they can order that and we can fulfill it in the same day.
Wow.
And so for a lot of companies, we've been able to drastically reduce their overhead costs, because if they're storing it themselves, then they've got to come up with 20 days worth of inventory, or 3 weeks worth of inventory. But by allowing us to do it on demand, they're only housing 1.5 days worth of inventory. And so you're reducing that overhead dramatically by not having to place these large orders all at once for your inventory. You can have it shipped to us in smaller batches, and then we're fulfilling it on a regular ongoing basis. So that's been another really neat customized service that we've been allowed to offer out here.
And that's another reason why I wanted to take some time just to talk about what you all do, because a lot of people say the word logistics, but I think it's different on a case-by-case basis. So with Conner Logistics, I noticed that your all's name happens to be up there. So family-run business. I love this story, and I won't get too into the weeds on this, but one of the first interactions I was able to have with you guys is that you all, I think, almost found us by accident here in Somerset. And you came and you looked here, and you ended up locating, I guess I wouldn't say relocate, because you still have offices in California, but you've opened up more offices here in Kentucky now, and you guys are expanding. But it's a great story how you got here. It's a great family business. Your parents are here. They started the company, and I love that you all have you kind of traveled together when you came to Kentucky. Tell us about that.
So yeah, it was totally. I mean, Kentucky was not on the top of the list, to be honest. In California, we Californians, I don't know if you noticed, are fleeing like
Sure.
out of California because it's a disaster there. But
it's not business friendly.
It's rough, and I'm assuming there's not a lot of Californians me watching.
Probably not.
About it. But it's we still do business there, but it's very difficult there. And so we were looking for a location, and we looked at Texas and Tennessee and Florida and all the places that all the Californians are moving to. And this is 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago almost at this point that we started looking. And by chance, an email went out to a local community leader that Megan sent out asking some questions. And the next thing we know, we were referred to SPIDA, and then to your office and to the mayor's office. And then one thing led to another, and we came out here and saw how beautiful Somerset was and how nice the people were and the way the community operates, and just the difference between California is night and day.
Right.
Just the peace of mind here is completely different. And so it won us over just coming out here for just even one. We were here for a couple days and a week, and by the time we left, we knew this is where we were going to move. So this is our headquarters. We originally were going to move more out here, but California kept growing along with it, and Kentucky's grown, and then we opened an operation in Cleveland a year and a half ago. And then we're also looking to, we have some partner connections that we're making right now to expand into possibly another, 5 or 6 states in the next coming months.
Sure, which is exciting, and maybe that's another exciting announcement we can make on another day.
Yeah,
so,
for sure, that'd be great.
Well, yeah, my biggest thing, and the reason that we do this series is I think it's important that people get an opportunity to learn about your business and why you won this Business of the Year award that's right up there. I know that on the night of the banquet, we read a very well-crafted narrative about your business, but
written by her very well.
Yeah, absolutely. But it doesn't give people an opportunity to actually maybe put the names with the face and just get to know more about your business. So that's all we're trying to do today. I know that one thing that's been very important to both of you all is just kind of, really immersing yourself in the community, digging in. Mm-hmm. You came here, you want to be part of this community, you want to help and volunteer and contribute and give back, and you've done that on every single level that I've seen. And that's one of the big reasons that, we hand out our Business of the Year awards. There's a lot of really good, successful businesses here in our community, but we look at all sides of, the puzzle before we hand those awards out. And I know that you guys have been involved in a lot of local charitable events. Now, one that comes to mind for me, and you can tell me about a bunch of these that I may not know about, is Make-A-Wish. So Make-A-Wish didn't even have a foundation. They didn't have a chapter here 2 years ago. I know that for a fact. And they put a chapter here, and you guys, I believe we talked about an opportunity, and you were looking to get involved with them anyway, and that's kind of took off. I know that you're involved in a lot of different ways. You've got kids here. It's, for me, that's one of the biggest reasons that, we look at these businesses, and I want people to know that about you all. You may have been here 4 years, but in 4 years, you've been more involved in this community than a lot of people that have been here decades. Tell us about some of the other things that you're involved in, you're passionate about. I know, obviously, your faith and your church, but what are some of the things that you all are enjoying about our community and ways that you all are giving back?
You want to talk about that?
Sure. Well, Make-A-Wish is big, and that's one of them. We've had the opportunity to grant 2 wishes just in the last couple of months, which
So
is
good.
really fantastic. One of the reasons we were really motivated to participate in Make-A-Wish is our own daughters had some, health issues that have been pretty significant and has impacted our life. But we actually worked with Make-A-Wish years before in California and had a great experience with them. So it was a good organization that we knew that we could partner with well.
Right.
But when we found out that Pulaski County actually had so many ungranted wishes, that's what kind of motivated us. Like, wait, this is a small community full of a lot of great business leaders and people that would be wanting to contribute, and I think people just don't know that there's a need for it. And
Right.
so we were able to jump in on 2 of them, and so that's great. We've had 2 wishes granted, which is pretty efficient for the Make-A-Wish in this area. Some of the other areas that we participate in, and we're really big on second chance employment. We work with Department of Justice. We work with Goodwill. We're an employment partner with them. The workforce development. We are involved in anything that connects to that, anything that's going to teach new skills that we can be a part of, as best as we can. We can't teach everything or support
Sure.
everything, but that's something we're really passionate about. We see, obviously in logistics, you see a lot of individuals that come from some difficult backgrounds at time, and we have found that employment is really the key to success and to a new life. And we've got amazing stories that we don't have time to tell about right now of previous employees and current employees that we gave a second chance opportunity to, and their lives are completely different.
I love that story. 10 years ago, my answer here would be different. There was a time in my life where I just thought, we need to just build more jails, and everybody doesn't deserve a second chance. And I look at myself 10 years later, and I totally, changed, my attitudes on this. And I think it's just because, for me personally, I've seen a couple different sides of this. The workforce issue, just from the chamber perspective, is something that we talk about on a daily basis. If there's one thing that it's always in the back of our head, is workforce development. I get a dozen job openings a week that are sent to me. I mean, it's Wednesday, and I've already probably had 10 this week. I know how many people are trying to hire, and I look at people, and I look at some of the programs, like what we're doing over at our local jail, the Pulaski County Corrections Center, and we've been really involved in just promoting that. I'm not on the ground floor with the jail and SPEDA, but we're really invested in helping promote what they're doing over there, because you've got some really innovative ideas where they're training these inmates, so when they leave incarceration, they're going to be ready to go to work. And there's opportunities for a lot of them right now while they are in incarceration, where they can leave every day, go work, and then come back to the jail in the evenings. So when they have their time, and when it's served, they might have $10,000-$20,000 in the bank. That could change their lives.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about a chance to buy a car and to rent an apartment and to get out of that situation that they've been in for decades, possibly.
It's also the value. I think that for us, what I've seen is that a lot of people go into those situations and they come out and they don't know what to do, and they don't feel like they have a value. They don't know what they're supposed to do with their life, and sometimes giving them that opportunity and showing them, and a lot of it's not always easy. You have to work with them and train them and spend time with them, and there's bumps, but being able to overcome those things, they start valuing themselves. And I think that you can see almost like a light turn on where it just starts to shift. And we've had so many awesome stories of guys that have come out on the other side of that. It's not been perfect, but the majority of them, honestly, have turned out really well.
And if you look at statistics of recovery, whether it's addiction or criminal justice background, I mean, the return rates, the success rate is it's less than 1%. And in ours, when we were tracking our percentages, we were at 85%.
Which is phenomenal. I mean, it's phenomenal. I think if you can help one, but I mean, it sounds like you're helping, dozens and dozens. You're making a difference, and those are the things that we don't talk about. I mean, that is a true contribution to our community by you doing that. And there's a lot of businesses, again, 10 years ago, there's businesses that we know very well that said, we're not going to hire any of those types of people. That's not who we want. And 10 years later, with a workforce crisis on their hands, they're going, well, maybe we need to revisit our policies. Right. And they've some of those people are now leading the charge in giving people a second chance. So I love that you're doing that, and it's an incredible way that you're giving back to this community, because everybody's not doing that. I think that maybe you take that for granted. It's a really generous thing that you're doing, and I'm sure that you're finding some really good employees, throughout the course of that.
For those that will stay in, they become our most loyal, most valuable employees, and they end up climbing the ladder sometimes higher than others.
I remember the director at Skyhope told me one time that the girls that are over at Skyhope in their women's recovery center, when they leave there, she said, listen, these people can all pass a drug test. They're going to show up on time. She said most of them will show up early. Said they want to work. So if you could find those people, that's a tremendous add to not only your business but to this community, because you could be changing their lives forever. Giving them an opportunity to start a family and a life that they never had before. I talked to a gentleman a while back who was with one of the rehab facilities here in town, and he told me he was a 5th generation addict. He said he never knew any other kind of life. And he's clean now, he's sober, he's got a job working here for Impact Collision. I mean, those are great stories. So I want to thank you all for doing that. So let's just say this maybe in closing a little bit. I know that we want to talk about local, but you guys are a big company. I mean, that's the thing. You may only have a small workforce here, but we're not talking about California, we're not talking about Cleveland, and I want people to understand, though, that if they have logistics needs, this is an excellent opportunity. How do they get a hold of you all? Is there an easy way to do that?
Simple. Our phone number. You can go on our website. We have it directs you. Actually, the very first number you press when you call us is press 1, and you get Violet sitting right over there. I mean, we're pretty easy to get a hold of. Our website and phone would be the easiest.
Conner Logistics.
ConnerLogistics.com. And we're really interested in working with anybody in the community, from small to big. There's a lot of opportunities for the biggest thing that we're really excited about right now is doing this, what we call dark delivery or delivering overnight. There's a lot of places that get product overnight delivered to them from their HQs or their locations outside of the area. And we do that in California, and that's something we're going to try to roll out here, is bringing parts in and restocking shelves or bringing it into that facility, so customers that are ordering something today can have their part there tomorrow. A lot of times I've noticed in town that if you want a part for your car or something and it's not available, it may take 3 or 4 or 5 days for that part to show up.
Right.
We're trying to work with partners in town and the community to be able to get those parts in here faster, so that you don't have to wait as long to get them. So that's definitely something we're really trying to do right now.
Well, that's exciting. That's good news. I've had that experience myself, where you need something and it takes several days to get here.
It's shifting away from kind of LTL, where it's just going to get here when it gets here, as opposed to condensing that volume and us being able to get it directly from the distribution centers and then to where it needs to go locally.
Sure. And maybe one other thing I'll touch on is, I think a lot of people think logistics, maybe they just think 18-wheelers. I mean, a lot of what you do is you've got several different types of vehicles that you're out there with. You've got stuff that's smaller, more nimble, that can get from point A to point B, and then you've got the big stuff too. You know?
And the MMF this year we had our golf carts rolling.
So everything down to the golf cart.
We do vans, delivery vans, all the way up to the big trucks. So we have everything in between.
So there's no job too big or too small, and that's the one thing I really want to hammer with this video, is that I think some people might think, well, this isn't for me, they're too big for me. I don't think you are. I think you'd be happy to talk to them I think if you called Sean or Megan and you talked to them, I think they'd be happy and honored to have your
Oh
business.
yeah, we'd love anybody to give us a call. We'll work with anybody, especially within the county or in Kentucky. We're really excited about working with people here and making a difference in the community. So.
Well, guys, thank you all for indulging us with our spotlight. I know you all are busy. I appreciate you taking the time to do this. This Chamber Spotlight for us is important, and we want to thank you all for everything you're doing in our community. We want to congratulate you again as a Business of the Year award winner, and we look forward to working with you for many, many years to come. So,
thank you, Bud.
Guys, another Chamber Spotlight coming at you next week. Until then, have a wonderful day. We'll talk with you soon. Thanks again.
Thank you.